Hello and welcome to NDTV Profit. I am Vikas Srivastava. Today we have with us Mr. Harsh Shah. He is the CEO of IndiGrid, India's first and only listed power InvIT or the Infrastructure Investment Trust. Today he will be talking to us about the latest acquisition of a solar asset in Jaisalmer, their assets under management and the business outlook. Welcome to NDTV Profit, Harsh.
Thank you.
So Harsh, can you, for our viewers, give more details on this acquisition that you have done from Renew of this solar asset? What role it's going to play in terms of complementing your business, and such details if you can provide to our viewers?
Sure. So first of all, thank you NDTV to have us here today. We have a sizable presence in Rajasthan, both for transmission business and solar business of IndiGrid. This asset is approximately 300 megawatt of single site asset, and therefore it adds very well in our portfolio in Rajasthan. The overall size of this asset is approximately 1550 crores in rupee terms at which we are purchasing it. And therefore, it will add approximately similar amount in our AUM. Our AUM today is around 27,000 crores. So this asset adding to that will bring the AUM up by around 3 to 4% on addition of this asset. In terms of our solar portfolio, solar consisted of approximately 17% of our AUM. We acquired 4,000 crores of renewable energy assets last year. And adding to this additional 1,600 crores of asset, we have acquired around 5,700 crores of assets of operating solar projects. And that has taken percentage of solar assets in our AUM to just over 20%, and the total AUM to just over 28,000 crores.
Right. So for our InvIT that started for transmission projects, how are these generating assets, especially into solar, going to kind of complement your business going ahead? What role would solar play? And also if you can give a breakup of your power projects portfolio.
Sure. So we are an infrastructure investment trust, as you described. So we are in power transmission, power space, and our role is to ensure that our unit holders achieve a superior risk adjusted returns. And what that means is that we provide them a predictable yield which grows over a period of time. By that logic, what we need to do is to acquire assets which gives a long-term predictability of the cash flow that those assets can generate, and then continue to acquire more assets so that we can grow that cash flow to our unit holders. Both transmission and solar projects provide predictable cash flow to unit holders. When we started the transmission business, we were only focused on transmission. However, we realized that solar business as well, if we can acquire projects with strong counterparties like SECI, like NTPC, Gujarat, in that scenario, they are also equally safe, and they provide superior adjusted long returns to our unit holders. And therefore, we expanded to that area and operating in both transmission and generation space, or solar generation space, to be honest, specifically, we are able to leverage our current manpower and skill set. So we have an operating synergy. Plus, we have a financial synergy with our overall cost of capital being relatively better than the market. And therefore, we are able to acquire assets at better price and provide our unit holders an additional yield. And therefore, adding solar to our portfolio, and specifically solar assets with central counterparties or good counterparties, allows us to provide a higher return without really increasing a risk materially on our business. And that's why adding 20-25% of solar makes tremendous sense on IndiGrid business model. And that is why we expanded into solar. First time we expanded in 2020 with just 100 megawatts. We've proven this hypothesis over 2 years. And then last year we grew from 100 megawatt to a gigawatt of portfolio.
So this 300 megawatt will increase it beyond gigawatt, or it makes up for 1 gigawatt?
It makes just over gigawatt of portfolio.
Okay. So given there is a lot of focus on wind power also now going ahead, so would you be looking at wind portfolio also in your total assets?
At this point in time, we are not looking at wind portfolio because solar projects are relatively easier to manage at a lesser scale. So even a 100 megawatt solar project, we can operate it with efficiency. But a 100 megawatt wind project is not, I would say, does not provide operating synergies. So then we need to really do big in wind, or 500 megawatt or gigawatt. And that adds a lot of variability to our portfolio. And something, as I said earlier on, our unit holders desire stable, predictable AAA returns. And that becomes difficult when the wind generation varies materially on quarter, and many of the cash flows of wind PPAs are with state counterparties, which are probably a notch lower than SECI and NTPC. So both for operating reasons and credit reasons and variability reasons, we have stayed away from wind. And even at this point in time, we are not looking to buy any wind assets at this point in time.
Okay. So, going ahead, you need a lot of funding requirements also you will be having for this kind of expansion that you are taking up. So, what will be the fund requirement and how you are planning to fund it?
I would say historically, our unit holders and the market has really supported us very well in terms of fundraising. We have raised preference issue, rights issue, I would say institutional placement, variety of capital raises that we have done in the past. Just last year, just end of last year, 2023, we raised two issues. One was a preference issue where large family offices got allocated IndiGrid units with a year of lock-in. And the other was institutional placement, where around most of the large Indian domestic institutions participated, largely corporates, domestic pension funds, insurance companies, etc. So in all, we raised around 1,050 crores in last half of the 2023, which reduced our debt headroom, which reduced our debt to AUM ratio, and therefore increased our ability to grow by 6,000-7,000 crores. At this moment, our leverage is 60% net debt to AUM. Prescribed guideline of SEBI allows a maximum leverage of 70% net debt to AUM, which means we can add another 6,000-7,000 crores of projects. Out of that, the 1,600 crore project that we just acquired is already figuring it out in that. So if we acquire Renew by Q4 of FY24, our leverage will be around 62.5% by FY24. That will leave still some headroom for us to grow without raising capital.
So 64% is what you are saying will be the leverage ratio for FY24?
No, 62.5%.
62.5%. Okay. And going ahead, which are the sectors where you see most of your orders to come up from, and what will be your AUM at the end of FY24?
So, see, we are looking. We are pretty positive about the entire electricity value chain in India currently, both for energy transition and energy security purpose. But we don't play in all part of the value chain. We play on limited parts of the entire value chain. We play on transmission, development. We won about 1,000 crore orders in December recently, where we are going to build out those transmission lines and substations over the next 2 years. The second area where we play is on solar projects. We acquired Renew recently. And the third part of the project, we play on battery storage, and we are pretty bullish on the battery storage as well. We recently won about 100 crore odd battery energy storage project with BSES Rajdhani in Delhi for the energy shift application. And that's something which we think is going to come up online very soon. So we play on these three segments, which are core of energy transition today, to enable India's journey from coal focused to a renewable focused economy. And therefore, we are very bullish on all these three segments. All three segments are looking at tailwinds, and we are in transmission. For example, there are 1 lakh crore of transmission project coming for auction and bidding. On solar, we already know the 500 gigawatt of target, and that's keep coming and increasing. So we would look to play on that in our own small little way. And on battery energy storage, also we will participate actively. At this point in time, we have just got our first project. So it's a new technology. We are implementing and seeing and learning, but we are liking it, and therefore we would be looking to grow that. So these are the three focus areas for us to grow.
So this battery storage project that you spoke about, this battery storage, you are doing the EPC, or will be generating from a battery storage project?
No, we are owning the battery storage.
Achha,
and
okay.
we will be in the premise of the customer, which is BSES Rajdhani. But asset will be owned by us for the concession period, and subsequently it will be transferred to the customer. So it's not like an EPC.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of target you see for a battery storage kind of projects in coming years, like in terms of revenue generation for InvIT?
See, I think it's a upcoming technology. At this point in time, standalone battery storage is not viable at a large scale
Yeah.
for every use, right? And therefore, specific customers are putting in specific use cases and putting in. But like it happened with solar, I mean, battery storage is where solar was in 2009-10, where the cost seemed high. But as the manufacturing costs reduce and the scale increased, there is an inflection point after which the battery energy storage will become very much viable. So we'll have to wait for that viability for large scale projects. At this point in time, we are not looking to grow overall battery energy storage more than 1,000, 2,000 crore AUM in our portfolio, which will be in the range of 5 to 6% of our overall AUM.
Okay. And one final question on overall outlook for, say, transmission and generation business. How do you see it, and how it's going to benefit an InvIT like yours?
So, as I said, we are extreme. I mean, there is a trinity that's playing out in India and in the world. The renewable energy cost has become, I would say, almost at grid parity, and the technology is supporting us to generate power. The regulations and policy is favoring the same. So, starting from the top, where we are setting up a vision for energy transition, to almost every bureaucratic organization and eventually the grassroots, there is a clear momentum towards moving towards renewable energy, which is causing new transmission lines, new battery storage, and new renewable energy projects. So we are seeing the demand drivers also pushing it in that direction. And the third one is just the capital mobilization. There are more and more investors globally and domestically are looking to deploy capital in all this. So this trio is working together to make this sector extremely vibrant. And we are seeing the green shoots over the last couple of years as we see. So we are pretty bullish on this sector, which 10 years ago was a old sector to now it's become a tech sector, financial sector, and very, very interesting for players to deploy capital. So we are extremely bullish on all these three.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Harsh, for talking to NDTV Profit, taking out time and talk to us. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.